That was something else. I uh I wanted to jump on here and give my thoughts on the speech tonight, the State of the Union. For those that have watched it, if you have not, you need to go watch it. That was one of the most fiery, uh, wartime, uh, burn it down kind of speeches that I have heard in a long time. And that's saying a lot because it's coming from President Trump. Um, but I wanted to give a little bit of my thoughts and perspective. I, of course, released today a video about the state of the kingdom, which I believe is very strong. And so now I want to give a little bit of my comments on what was shared. First of all, I want to say overall, I think that was a very intense, strong, pulling no punches kind of speech. I think some people were going to think it was going to be a little bit more like unity, let's come together. But this tonight was wartime President Trump. And, I feel like it is probably very appropriate for the time that we live in right now. It is intense. 2026 started off intense. And I think for him, a couple of my favorite moments for those that watch it. And again, if you didn't watch it, you need to go back and check it out. A couple of my favorite moments, though, was definitely I really loved Eric Stover, the officer, the hero of the Maduro raid, who had his legs all blown up, and he showed up there at the end, and they gave him the medal, just honoring his bravery, piloting the helicopter after getting shot in the leg 4 separate times. That to me was just what a moment. Of course, I loved, when he acknowledged, the old school vets, several of them throughout the night. Um, I just could not believe. I think what shook me was the Democrats just never cheered, never stood up, even when there was things that we should all be thankful for, like zero, illegal immigration and no crime on the streets of DC, and that we should only have American citizens voting in American elections. I mean, they didn't stand for Erica Kirk in lieu of Charlie being martyred. They didn't stand, but they just didn't. I mean, it was clearly tonight what you witnessed was there is a deep, deep divide in America. And that was very evident. Of course, you had the Somali fraud stuff, and then you had them yelling at him and raging at him. I mean, in many ways, it was just almost like a demonic. I mean, you could see it through the TV, like a straight on demonic manifestation happening before your eyes. But really, that actually, I think that's really good for Americans to see, so that they understand, hey, listen, these are different days. This is not the days where you can give up there and give kind of a bland, nice, oh, let's come together in unity speech. We have literal, crazy, demonic people that are elected in our nation that want to see it totally destroyed. How do I know this? How do you know this, Sean? Because I've encountered them. They were the ones that came after me in COVID in 2020. They still come after me today. They're the ones that inspire people to threaten us and go after us. They're almost all of the slanderous, pseudo journalists that attack us and try to discredit and slander us. They're left wingers. Some of them may try to claim that they're not, but they really are. I mean, it is a demonic spirit. And I think tonight you were able to see it fully manifested with especially the camera zooming in. I mean, the camera guy, I mean, guys, they got to give that guy a raise. Whoever was operating the cameras, it was like on point. They talked about insider trading. They went right to Elizabeth Warren, and Pelosi. Trump called out Pelosi, which was crazy. They talk about Somali fraud. They go right to Ilhan Omar. It was like, obviously the hockey team, that was amazing. That having them in there, that was really cool. Celebrating the gold medal. And I think starting off that way was really strong. But I just part of what I want to talk with you guys about, and I think there's a lot of Christians out there that are like, well, come on, Sean, he was rude. He's mean. He's intense. He's tearing other people down. He's calling out other people's names. We haven't had a president ever like this. And my response to you would we've never lived in days like this. We've never lived in a day where Iran is assembling nuclear weapons to literally annihilate Israel and us. We've never lived in a day where, 48 members of the Senate want to believe that it's okay to exterminate the life of a baby after it has already been born and it's sitting on the operating table surviving a botched abortion. We've never lived in the days where they are fighting for the right to call and to castrate perfectly healthy children and change their gender. I mean, we've never lived in this age. So, I talked to a pastor today in Nigeria. This is just one side note. And he said, listen, I know people think Trump is crazy. I don't think the guy knew that I, have spent a lot of time with the president and prayed over him of whatever. And he was like, Sean, I know a lot of people say different things, but Trump, they need a bully, to push people out, to push the people out of Nigeria, the northern parts of Nigeria. This is where this pastor worked, was in northern Nigeria. And he's like, we needed a strong guy who could come in and push them out. And all of these presidents before him said that they would do it, said that they would help us, but it took a Trump-like character to come in. And he said, Sean, they're scared of him up here, northern Nigeria. Boko Haram, the Muslim terrorists, are scared of him. The top leaders in that organization fled to other nations. He was telling me, and I want to just remind you guys, we're not electing a pastor. We're not electing a nice, these are the days where, the prophecies over President Trump were that he's a wartime president. He's a hot-blooded man. He's a war. I mean, go back to the Kim Clement words. He's a wartime president. And I think tonight we saw that. And I think, honestly, the best version of him, or you could say the most prophetically fulfilled version of him, according to the words that have been spoken, is somebody that carries that wartime energy, right? To defeat terrorism, to close the border, to hunt down, those that want to corrupt our nation and our election integrity. This is what you're going to get. This is the prophecy spoken about him, the word spoken about him, and this is how he actually is. Tonight, this is not like a facade, and this is not like a fake thing. This is actually him. He is an actual wartime president, calling people out, talking about fraud, fiercely defending the country. And I think a lot of people, a lot of Christians, because we're bent towards, we want to be nice. We want to be we don't remember, obviously, all of the wartime leaders in the history of the Bible, which, by the way, there's a lot. David was one of them. But I think it's so important for us to remember that he was called to be a wrecking ball, to wreck systems and to wreck disorder and to wreck corruption. And I am really praying that this same energy would move into all the other areas like Iran. We got to fix that, man. There's 40,000 innocent people that have been murdered. It's go time. Nigeria is another thing. The Epstein files, unload it all, wreck it all, torch it all, burn it down, scorch earth. The speech that we saw tonight, I think is what we actually need in America. And it's uncomfortable for a lot of people. I understand that. I mean, I get a lot of heat for praying over him. And tomorrow we have a call with the White House and a bunch of pastors sharing about, they're letting me have a position to share about my vision for America 250. And how, hey, you want to do fireworks and you want to do bald eagles and you want to do, UFC fights. I want to do revival. And I want you guys to get behind us. And the White House is getting behind our Roots of Revival event. We're about to unload that whole thing tomorrow on a big call so you guys can pray for us. But, these are really dark times. And I think for a lot of people that don't know maybe what we're up against, or maybe some in the older generation, they kind of just want peace, and they want somebody that's just going to calm everyone's nerves and whatever. That's just not what you're going to get with President Trump. And I don't believe even that's the role. I mean, he calls himself the peace president. And I believe that he's solved a bunch of wars. And I believe that there's more wars that he's going to solve, but it's peace through strength. And I think tonight you saw a man on a mission. You saw a warpath. It was intense. Like I was like, whoa, he just said that. Wow, he just called those people out. And so, anyway, this just my reflections. I really do feel like we need to continue to keep praying for him and his family and his cabinet and his team. Pray all of the, my encouragement, 1 year into this administration would be to turn your frustrations into prayers. I mean, honestly, this is what we did with Obama too. This is what we did with Bush. This is what we do with people on whatever side of the aisle. Definitely with Biden, we did that, turning our frustration into prayers. If you're frustrated, if there's something that you're bummed out about or you're critical about or whatever, pray through it. Like let your intercession let that be an outlet for you. And that's what we've been doing. That's what we're going to continue to do. And I don't know. I feel more excited than I did before his speech on the direction that we're going. I want all of those promises fulfilled that he made. He made a lot of them coming into office. And for his legacy and for the future of America, I want to see all of those things come to pass. I want to see all the rights wronged, and not just, blaming Biden or whatever other predecessors. Like, okay, we got more years, let's fix it. I want to see affordability for the next generation so that they can live and own houses and thrive and be prosperous. I mean, these are all biblical principles that we should all want. I want to see healthcare costs come down. Like, they're outrageous. It's insane. Big pharma needs to get smoked in the face. I want to see all these insane wars stop. I want to see us feeling like we have to engage all the time in international stuff diminish. I do. And I want to see more than anything, the wartime president. I'll end it here. The wartime mode allows us to do things even on the mission field that we've never been able to do before. It allows us to really push the envelope, to go after souls, to plant churches, to do things that normally in normal times with normal presidents, we would probably get in trouble for. But with Trump, people are afraid of him. And so we're going to use that to our advantage, and we're going to promote the gospel to the ends of the earth. I was just in Australia, thought I might get kicked out for the things that I've said and the stances that I've taken on sexuality and abortion and other things. Didn't get kicked out. Going to Nigeria, going to India, going to Iraq, going to these places this year. And I'm telling you, I'm going to bring you guys a report on how the rest of the world, like, we're not just electing a leader or praying for a leader that controls America, but really the vast majority of the temperament of the rest of the world is changed for the better or the worse through the U.S. president. So I'll tell you, doing missions and pushing the envelope during the Biden era was really hard. Now, man, the window's open. The window is open. And so we're just going to go hard. We're going to go for Jesus. We're going to go for souls. Anyway, bless you guys. Tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, we're going to release the third episode of Breakthrough Hour. That's coming out tomorrow. So pumped for you to hear it. It's going to come out. This is the third episode of my show, Breakthrough Hour. We've been working really hard. Hope you'll take a listen. It'll be on all platforms. And then next weekend, we're kicking off the Roots of Revival in Florida. And so I can't wait to see you guys then. Those in Florida, Pensacola, Orlando, and St. Augustine. And then we're coming to Santa Fe, New Mexico. And then May 16th, we're coming to Washington, D.C. It's going to be awesome, celebrating America 250, calling on God for revival. Just really, really believe that this is a summer of miracles and breakthrough. So bless you guys. It's late on the East Coast. It's getting late on the West Coast, but overall, I feel very encouraged, and I hope you do too. Stay tuned. Really, really good stuff to come.